Hey guys, Michelle Emma here, and welcome to Pilates with me. Happy 2024, guys. I hope that you have been having a good start to your year, and today we are going to get a good start to our Pilates workouts. So, I teach Pilates on a daily basis, and I've realized that the clients that I teach that are now doing my YouTube videos know exactly what I'm talking about when I mention those 5 basic principles of Pilates. But then there's a few of you out there that have never done Pilates before and you have no idea what I'm talking about. You have no idea what other instructors are talking about, and you just play the video and you try to the best of your ability to survive the video. And so I wanted to start this year off with a different video compared to all the other videos that I've been posting recently. And I wanted to give you a video based solely on the 5 basic principles of Pilates. This is so that you guys can understand Pilates more, you can understand what is needed of you, and this will allow you to get a more effective workout with less chance of injury. Honestly, this is something that I wish was taught to us from a very young age. We need to learn about neutral alignment, we need to learn about posture, and we need to learn why it's so important that the muscular system and the skeletal system work well together. If we are aware of neutral alignment or not being in neutral alignment, we can help prevent injury from occurring later on in our lives. So it's all about learning how to keep our body in neutral alignment. And if we can do this, we're allowing our body to function at its most optimal level, which in the long run is going to decrease or prevent injuries from occurring. So please, even if you're not looking for a Pilates workout right now, watch this video for educational purposes, because I promise you are going to get so much out of it. If you apply these 5 basic principles to your everyday life, you will see the benefits in no time. So let's start off with talking about what is Pilates. So some people think that Pilates is yoga, and some people think that Pilates is a stretch class, but it is neither of these. Pilates is its own standalone exercise discipline. The similarities it has with yoga come in terms of connecting the breath to the movement. From that point on, they're actually quite different. Pilates is very much a physical practice, and there is no spiritual element as you would get in yoga. So Pilates isn't actually a stretching class. What it aims to do is balance out the strength and the flexibility of all those little muscles in our joints in our body, so that in the long term you become less injury prone. Pilates is a low impact workout, and so you're not going to be leaving the session sweating and exhausted like you would in a HIIT class. But also, don't get me wrong, you are still going to be getting a workout, but you're just working those smaller muscles in your body. And because they're smaller, they tire a lot faster, and so you're going to be doing far less repetitions of a certain exercise than you would in a typical fitness class. Pilates is a body-mind connection exercise, and so we think about the placement and the technique of a specific exercise over the number of repetitions that you will be doing. So overall, Pilates is an exercise system that is designed to elongate, strengthen, and restore the body to balance. Right, so let's get a little bit more technical and let's talk about the principles of Pilates. And although I'm going to talk about them separately, they very much work together to help you become aware of how the body moves and functions. So basic principle number 1 is breathing. And in Pilates, we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth through pursed lips. So let's separate the two and let's specifically talk about the inhale. So when we inhale, you want to be able to take in that fresh air, in that breath, all the way down into the base of the lungs, as opposed to just in the chest and the shoulders. When you do take the air into the lungs, you want to feel your lungs and the rib cage expanding in a very 3-dimensional way. So you want to feel those lungs and feel the rib cage expanding to the front of the body, to the side of the body, and to the back of the body as well. Okay, so let's take a look at our exhale now. In Pilates, we take our breath out on a slightly forced exhale through pursed lips. Almost like you're trying to blow out a row of candles. And now, if you really exaggerate that forced exhale, you will feel what it does to that central area of your torso, and it's going to feel like those deep core muscles start to fire up. And when we talk about those deep core muscles, we talk about two muscles in particular. One is like a corset that wraps around the entire waist, and the second one is that pelvic floor, which gives you that sensation of an internal lift as it switches on. And so when we inhale, we feel that three-dimensional movement of the lungs and the ribs. And as you exhale, you're going to feel that little corset around your waist pulling everything in, and that pelvic floor pulling everything up. So don't panic if you guys don't instantly get this. Practice definitely does make perfect. So I'm now going to show you, lying on my back, what this breathing looks like. So lying on your back in a nice, comfortable, relaxed manner, you're going to take your hands onto that pelvic floor. You're going to open up the chest and the shoulders, and we're going to inhale through the nose in that three-dimensional way. Feel the lungs opening out to the side, back and front, and then you're going to force that exhale through the mouth, through pursed lips, where you're going to feel that little corset around the waist gently tugging everything in, and that pelvic floor gently pulling everything up. You're going to repeat a few of those with me. So take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. One more. Inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Don't worry if you're getting the breathing wrong in the beginning. It is completely normal. Just keep moving and just keep breathing. There is a general rule of thumb, and that is the exhale is connected to the effort. So whenever we are doing something that requires you to fire up your muscles, that is generally when you are exhaling. So if you are going to be doing a tummy crunch, you will generally exhale on the chest lift and inhale on the chest lower. Let's talk about basic principle number 2, pelvic placement. And in pelvic placement, you get two different kinds of pelvic placement. Number 1 is neutral spine, and number 2 is imprinted spine. Let's talk about those separately. Neutral spine is the number 1 position that we want our pelvis to be in. It's the most shock absorbing position for the pelvis, and it allows you to perform activities without causing any injuries. But from bad habits and bad posture, we tend to come out of that neutral alignment and that neutral spine. So let me help you find that neutral spine. You're going to lie flat on your back, and we're just going to take the fingertips and find those bony points of your bones. Now these are called your ASIS. Then we have your pubic bone. Now you're going to take those fingertips onto the pubic bone and those palms of your hands onto the ASIS. Now neutral alignment is when there is a beautiful flat surface between the pubic bone and those hip bones, where you can have a glass of water on that pelvic floor and not spill it. If you go into too much of an imprint or too much of a flexion, it's going to spill the glass of water towards you. Whereas if you go too far into an extension, it's going to spill that glass of water away from you. So we need to find neutral alignment, which is somewhere in between those two positions, where we have a nice flat surface and that glass of water is safe. So we use neutral spine when we have both feet on the floor or one foot in the air. Essentially, you should be able to use neutral spine as well when you have both feet in the air. But due to weaker deep core muscles or poor posture or lower back issues, some of us don't feel comfortable using that neutral spine and lifting both of the legs up. And so in this case, we go into pelvic placement number 2, which is your imprinted spine. And in your imprinted spine, you're allowing your back muscles to lengthen and relax and engaging those front abdominal muscles to work a little bit harder so as to protect that lower back. So to find our imprinted position, you take the palms on that ASIS again and the fingertips to that pubic bone. From a neutral spine, you would gently just flatten your back into the mat to find your imprinted spine. Here, your rib cage is pulled in, your belly button is pulled in, and your bum muscles are relaxed. Avoid going into imprint and squeezing the bum muscles. So let me show you that movement again. From a neutral spine, you just go gently into a nice flat back, rib cage in, tummy tight, bum is relaxed. And now this is going to allow you to activate the front layer of your deep core muscles so that when you're lifting your legs into tabletop or extending them at a 45-degree angle, you are keeping your lower back nice and comfortable, nice and secured. Now, a lot of you may consider imprinting as cheating, but it's not. Consider imprinting as protecting. So if your lower back muscles are a little bit stronger than your front deep core muscles, then that imprint is going to help you protect those lower back muscles and activate those front muscles for a deeper core connection. So let's go through those two pelvic placements one more time using our breath that we have also learned. So we'll start in a neutral spine, ribs connected, tummy tight. You're going to take a deep breath in. And then on your exhale, you're going to gently press the lower back flat into the mat without squeezing the bum into your imprint. You inhale into your neutral, keeping that core connection and that 360 grip. And then you exhale, take it into your imprint without squeezing the bum. So as you can see, it starts to form what we call a pelvic rock. You have your neutral spine when your ASIS and your pubic bone is in alignment, and then you have your imprint when that pubic bone is a little bit higher than that ASIS and that bum is relaxed. Let's move on to basic principle of Pilates number 3, the rib cage placement. The abdominals connect to the rib cage, and so we must ensure that those abdominals are firing up to maintain the correct rib alignment and upper back alignment. So essentially what this basic principle is saying is that we need to maintain abdominal connection into the rib cage, which is going to allow us to keep the correct neutral alignment of that thoracic spine and rib cage. So a way to test this out would be to lie on your back in neutral spine, arms reach up towards the ceiling. Now, if you just relax your abdominals and you reach your arms back, you're going to see that your rib cage pops and that thoracic spine goes out of alignment. But if you connect your abdominal muscles and you pull that rib cage in, it's going to keep that rib cage in its correct alignment, and in doing so, it's going to keep that thoracic spine in its correct alignment. So let me show you one more time. Instead of allowing your abdominals to pop and be relaxed, connect into them so that when you move your arms back, nothing is popping. So again, this is not what it's supposed to look like. This is what it's supposed to look like. So that as you move your arms up and down or around or anywhere, you are maintaining that core stability. Let's move on to the fourth basic principle of Pilates, shoulder placement. So when we talk about shoulder placement, it is like talking about pelvic placement. We try and find the most neutral aligned position for the shoulder blades in order for your body to function in the most optimal way so as to decrease the chances of injuries. So to find the neutral alignment of the shoulder blades, I'm going to be showing you a few movements to do to test it out to find that neutral position. Now these movements can be done lying down, flat on your back. It can be done seated, standing, whatever you feel comfortable with, but you are going to be stacking your vertebrae on top of each other and trying to open up that chest while you do this. So we're going to start off with what we call protraction and retraction of the shoulders. Now, protraction is when you are reaching your shoulder blades away from each other. You can imagine that they're sliding away from each other. They're becoming further and further apart. And then retraction is when you slide your shoulder blades towards each other, almost trying to touch the medial borders of the shoulder blades together. Now, it's not about moving the body and flexing and extending the spine. You are literally just moving the shoulder blades in their sockets. You're moving them away. Remember, that's protraction. And then you're moving them towards each other. Now, that's retraction. Now, if you find a position somewhere in between those two movements, that is going to be neutral alignment. And in the same breath, we can also say elevation of the shoulders and depression of the shoulders. If you find the position somewhere in between there, that is going to be neutral alignment. So again, you don't want to be too protracted, too retracted. You don't want to be too elevated, and you don't want to be too depressed. It's that happy medium between all those positions, and then you're going to find your lovely shoulder neutral alignment. And last but not least, we have the fifth basic principle of Pilates, head and neck placement. So again, we talk about neutral alignment of the body. Now, when we're standing, your ear should be over your shoulder and your shoulder should be over your hip. That is your neutral alignment. But obviously, when you're doing a Pilates class and you're lying down most of the time, or throughout your day of working, sitting at a chair, it's not always easy to get that correct neutral alignment. So what we do need to remember is that wherever the thoracic spine goes, the cervical spine and head should follow. So let me show you what I mean when it comes to flexion. So if we are doing an ab crunch and we are flexing that thoracic spine, we want to take the neck with us. You are not going to be flexing that thoracic spine, but letting your neck go into extension and dropping that head. It's got to be in that beautiful long curve. You're continuing that curve, protecting the neck, protecting the head. Now, the same thing goes for if you are in extension. Now, if you are an extended spine, so you extending that thoracic spine up, you're going to be taking that cervical spine and that head with you. You're not going to be taking it into overextension, and you're not going to be leaving your head down either. You're again continuing that beautiful long line of that thoracic spine. And so the reason we do this is because your head is one of the heaviest parts of your body. If you are disrupting that beautiful flow from your thoracic spine through to your cervical spine, you are also disrupting the way your body was designed to naturally hold your neck and your head, which is therefore going to apply unnecessary pressure onto certain muscles in the neck and the shoulders, which is therefore going to lead to a neck or shoulder injury. There we go, guys, the 5 basic principles of Pilates in a nutshell. I truly hope that you found this video informative. Take those 5 basic principles, apply them to your future Pilates workouts, apply them to your daily life, and let me know if you find any benefits, which I can promise you, you will. Also, don't be afraid to leave any questions in the comments below. I look forward to helping you where I can. Until next time, guys, bye, take care.